Hey guys, Aaron Wilson. I'm at Reliance Stadium where the Texans held a walkthrough practice this morning, and then we toured the M Club and some of the new fancier aspects of Reliance Stadium in terms of food, beverage, and some of the exclusive things they're offering for their VIP fans this year. So yeah, cool stuff, good food, and of course things that'll be new in the concession stands. I'll show you that later in the video. We're going to talk football first, and of course I had a chance to watch practice, have some cool videos from practice as well from a somewhat pared down workout. This was a walkthrough, so it wasn't the usual where the highlight plays. It wasn't that kind of practice. They were getting ready for, of course, this big Tuesday joint practice with the Las Vegas Raiders. So Max Crosby, Fernando Mendoza, Kirk Cousins, Ashton Genty, and Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, Colton Miller, some of the top players for the Las Vegas Raiders. So a good chance for the Texans to, even though they're a better team than the Raiders last year, a playoff squad, unlike Las Vegas, who they beat during the regular season, it's a good chance to compete against another team and get ready. So we'll bring you some thoughts from D'Amico Ryans on getting ready for that, and interviews with Xavier Hutchinson and Reed Blankenship. And I have a one-on-one exclusive interview with rookie linebacker Aiden Fisher, who I thought was outstanding against the run versus the Los Angeles Chargers, had 7 tackles and was absolutely lights out, and played with the same kind of grit and tenacity that he showed for the national champion Indiana Hoosiers, playing for Curt Cignetti. And he was a transfer from James Madison University, followed Coach Cignetti to Bloomington and did a great job. Not the biggest linebacker, not that high drafted, 7th round, but played better than a lot of guys with a bigger pedigree than him, including Wade Woodaz. This was the highest graded run stopper Pro Football Focus had graded from this past game. So we'll get into that conversation, but we'll start with practice and with some things to expect, having now talked to Texans coach D'Amico Ryans. So as I told you before, everybody that can go in the preseason game is going to play. And their anticipation is that that's going to be, most of the guys. They don't have, while they have some injuries, they don't have that many injuries. And it doesn't sound like Tank Dell will be playing in that. And I kind of wonder if Tank Dell, because they've limited him to, these team drills where people don't touch him, he's not in the one-on-ones. I highly, highly doubt that will change versus the Las Vegas Raiders in the preseason game or in this joint practice. And D'Amico was asked specifically about Tank today, and he says Tank is on his own plan. However that looks, whatever it entails, it's all geared toward what's best for Tank. So that does not sound like they're going to be putting Tank out there, and that's what we've been saying. We've been saying this for a long time. I said this way before training camp started. I did my injury updates, that they would have this measured approach for Tank Dell. So he's truly on his own schedule. And since we're talking injuries, we'll run it down quickly because I know you guys like to kind of get updates. Jalen Petrie practiced for the 2nd consecutive day, so it seems like whatever he was dealing with, as we said, it wasn't anything serious. So he is back. And then offensive line is healthy, not as healthy at running back. Of course, with British Brooks with a broken hand, Jawar Jordan still out with a strained hip flexor. And they did add a corner, Bryce Hall, who had worked out for them previously. He was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He has started some games in the NFL. They did that because Jamarcus Ingram dislocated his shoulder and is out indefinitely. Not on injured reserve, but he's out indefinitely. And then Colin Wright has not been able to practice the last couple of days because he has a soft tissue injury. So he's sidelined, and they still haven't activated MJ Stewart. He remains on the physically unable to perform list after tearing his quadricep tendon last year, along with EJ Speed, who's out for the season with a torn quadriceps tendon. So going down the line, looking at some of the health situations. Jake Hansen's still out with the ankle injury, one of the players they get asked about a lot, but he is running on the side, so he is making some progress. And looking over, the defense, relatively healthy on offense, obviously missing some players still, and they hope to get some guys back. Brevin Jordan is still out, of course, with a knee injury. It isn't season ending, but he's having issues with the, pounding that's, the accumulation of injuries. having missed last year with the torn patellar tendon, the year before with the anterior cruciate ligament tear. So without any further ado, we'll talk about the Texans and this big practice with the Las Vegas Raiders. So this is an opportunity, of course, kind of a measuring stick. So, DeMeco Ryans pretty excited about this. We're going to hear from DeMeco, but it's going to be interesting. I want to see how they block Max Crosby. That's another test for this offensive line. Different style of pass rusher, very relentless guy, and certainly one of the best rushers in the game, and has his own relentless style. Very exciting to watch. Can they confuse rookie quarterback Fernando Mendoza? Are they able to get to Kirk Cousins in time? Because Kirk is very good at getting the football out of his hands, very accurate quarterback. So those are some matchups. And, of course, Brock Bowers. And tight ends had their way with the Texans a lot last year. Trey McBride for the Arizona Cardinals. They won that game, but Trey McBride had a highlight type of day. He was making his own personal highlight film at the expense of the Texans' great, storied defense. So some things he wants to see is consistency, some deliberate style, and he's excited about some of the depth. They had Elijah Huzzy playing some nickel. He saw him get beat on a route, but then adjusted his technique and then made a play. So he's watching that for improvement. When it comes to CJ Stroud, there's nothing more important than how CJ performs. I think overall, as I said on Sports Sunday, he's had a good camp, good command of the offense, and he's done a pretty good job of recognizing different coverages and having pretty good eye discipline, not staring down his primary read. And that's how you avoid interceptions, doing things like that, looking off the defense and being good pre-snap, recognizing where's the mic, where's the coverage, what are they doing. And as DeMeco Ryan said, consistency. It's about being able to do it time and time again, and looking at everything they're going to do. But he's excited to see the Texans compete against the Raiders. This is DeMeco Ryans, and I think it's a pretty interesting conversation to look at, how the Texans will try to compete, how they'll try to take the football away. He brought up Kalen Bullock and the playmaking of Kalen. We've talked about that many times, about how good Kalen is at finding the football. So in terms of big takeaways from the practice, as I said, if you want to try to make observations from a practice where they're not really practicing, it's basically not a very good use of your time. So I don't like to waste any of my time. It certainly wouldn't waste yours. So I want to give you guys these relevant conversations. And it's sometimes what happens, it's kind of more of a talkative day than a action kind of day, other than them signing Bryce Hall. So that was the big, newsy update of the day. And, he's just not promised a spot on the roster. He's competing for a spot on the roster. So there you have it with him. So we'll hear from a bunch of the guys, including, like I said, my conversation with Aiden Fisher. So we'll hear from DeMeco, and you'll, of course, see the practice footage, and we'll get into all of that. So let's hear from Texans coach DeMeco Ryans, and afterward, we're going to talk more about Aiden Fisher and talk with Aiden Fisher here at the channel.
With the joint practice tomorrow, we're trying to accomplish, two good teams going out competing against each other and going against some different schemes. That's the biggest emphasis, like being able to see some different things, tendency-wise, play-wise, going against different players. They have a lot of good players there, starting with the defensive end. Max Crosby is going to be great for our guys to go against him at the quarterback position. Having Kirk Cousins and Mendoza, two really good quarterbacks. So we're excited to see our group going up against those guys. Can't forget Brock Bowers as well, one of the best tight ends in the league. So personnel different, right? Scheme different. It helps us to continue to develop and grow our team throughout training camp. With Tank, he's on his own plan. So however that looks, whatever it entails, it'll be all geared toward what's best for Tank Dell.
There are moments when you have to kind of sift through some practice stuff where it's like, hey, don't make this play because you're familiar with it. Like, make this play because you see it as the play is happening. Because you guys go against each other enough. So I think sometimes maybe it doesn't become familiar for the guys and try not to have that be a disadvantage for a rep.
We have a lot of variety to what we're doing offensively and defensively, so it's never one rep that's the same. Guys have to be on it. You have to be deliberate in what you're doing. You have to trust your eyes, trust your techniques, and be where you're supposed to be. I think we had a couple plays where, like one play we had yesterday with Huzzy playing the nickel position. Right, he's gotten better. He got beat on a similar route a couple times, and yesterday he was able to play his technique a little bit better, a little tighter. He was able to step in one and make an interception. So that's the type of growth you see. Although it may be a different route, different look, different formation, can you just trust your technique, be where you're supposed to be, and make a play? And Huzzy was a good example of that yesterday.
When it comes to winning a job, a lot of times we look at the preseason game like this guy's ahead of the job. What percentage would you say when it comes to like practice and the preseason game is what decides that?
There's no percentage to me. It's all I take everything into account, right? And it's not just one is heavier than the other. I just look at how guys are working every single day. How are they improving every single day? That's what I'll take into consideration. And also, you get towards the end, you were talking about backup guys, role guys, like how many things can that guy do for us? Right? Where is his versatility? And versatility helps a lot when you have to limit the roster. You need guys who can do multiple things on game day, so that definitely helps.
The value for somebody like CJ with these practice reps against the Raiders, and also perhaps if we see him in the preseason game, what is the value for him at this point in his career against these new faces and different looks?
Yeah, the value for CJ is you get to see again different coverages, right? You get to see different players and how are they responding and reacting to your movements, right? You discipline, keep your eyes down the middle, being able to move, hook players to your advantage, like can he go out and still execute his discipline, his techniques the proper way. Really, for him, it doesn't matter who you're going against, but it's also like, are you trusting your process every single time that you go out? So he's done a great job all camp, and I don't expect anything different on tomorrow. I expect him to come out and have a good day.
Coach, speaking of trusting the process, how do you help a player balance out that fine line between athleticism and instinct, but also reading your keys and sometimes reading your keys and doing the same thing over and over can be monotonous to some of those players, especially when they're very athletic, very instinctive. But how do you balance that out?
For me, consistency is key. You want to be a really good player, the great players in this league. One thing you can say about all of them, like they're consistent. They were consistent in what they did and the plays that they made. It wasn't about the wow plays, but they make the wow plays because they're consistent. And you add in great instincts and anticipation with being consistent on your technique. That's when you become a really great player. So it can get monotonous and boring at times just by an O lineman, for instance, just being able to stay inside, right? Protect inside out, inside out. You may hear the same thing over and over again, but the one time you don't do it, then disaster happens, for the play. So you just have to remain consistent. You have to remain confident in what the coaches are telling you, like is right. It works when you try to do it the right way. So consistency is key.
When looking for a team to practice with, joint practice wise, how important is for you, how much value you put on finding teams that have very different structures up front, how they line up defensively, things of that nature, even offensively, to I guess go against to prepare you for what you could potentially see just from a front structure standpoint throughout the season?
Ideally, when I'm going through and picking a joint practice, it first starts with our scheduling, and we don't get to pick our schedule, but it works out a lot of times in our favor where offensively we're consistently going against a four-man down front, which we run defensively. So if I could get the opportunity to go against teams that present five down fronts and different structures, different coverages, that works out great for us because, again, it's developing our offense to make some different calls, different communication checks up front, making sure they're on it because we know we're going to see a ton of five down teams throughout the season. So if we are able to get that work early on, right, in August, that definitely prepares us for the season.
How much harder does it make it to evaluate quarterbacks that's only been here a couple of days as you get down to the last 2 games, getting into the system and third and fourth string receivers that have to have a ball on time or where it should be for the quarterback that hasn't been here.
Brett's played in this league. He's done a really good job. He's won a couple games in this league, so he has the experience. So I'm not worried about that from an evaluation standpoint. His track record has proven that he can go in. Smart guy. He's picked up the offense already, done a great job with the plays that we've given him. So no worries there at all.
When a young player proves himself and does something well, and you can kind of envision him perhaps helping the team, is that when he gets opportunity to do other things like maybe kick return, punt return, special teams? You kind of earn the right to have more responsibility.
When it comes to the responsibility piece for all of our guys, it goes to whether you're a young guy, old guy, like how can you help us on game day? Right? We only get 48 guys on game day, so who can go out there again and do multiple things? So if you're a receiver, you can't just line up and be a starting receiver. You have to be able to provide something for us special teams wise, whether that's returning or helping out in some of the other phases. So the more you can do, the better.
Coach, when you have a joint practice, do you ever have conversations with the other coach about things you both want to work on and kind of coordinate so that you both benefit from that, or are you just going out there and competing?
With the joint practice, we definitely communicate with the other coaches, myself and the other head coach communicate. Also, our coordinators are talking. So, you want to try to get some things schematically that we haven't seen a ton of, so we can do that. We want to work that for sure. And then, from my mindset, it's put the ball down and let's go to work, right? It really doesn't matter. Like, throw your playbook at us. Let's see how our rules and things we're teaching our guys, how do they hold up? So it's not a lot of coordinating. Hey, I want to see this, want to see that. There's some one-offs here and there, but for the most part, man, we want to see our guys go out and just compete. Let's go against a really good team.
From your perspective, we know you got three value defensive back that take the ball away. Is ball skill something that you can really develop, or is it more like something you just have to have? It's kind of innate. From your perspective, how do you think that can be developed, or just flat out innate?
From my perspective, when you talk about taking the football away, in my short history of doing this and coaching, evaluating guys who have taken the ball away in high school and college, they tend to take the ball away in the NFL. Kalen Bullock, for instance, he's done it at a high level in college going up, taking the football away. Of course, I think his baseball background has something to do with that, playing center field, being able to track the football. I mean, he has really great hand-eye coordination and confidence in his hands. Derek Stingley, another guy, we're doing our ball meeting a couple of years ago, and Coach Dino pulled up an old high school clip of Stingley, picking the football off, and he picked it off exactly the same way he picked it off versus Denver, overhead, going up, picking the ball. So did I coach Stingley to do that? No. It's this God-given great ability that God has given him that he has a knack for going and taking the football away. So I'll try to find guys who have production in their history, high school, college, and it will definitely translate to the NFL. Same way, if a guy hadn't caught any in college, I can't give him too much of a hard time when he doesn't catch one here. Yeah, when you take the ball away, you know. You have to have that confidence. When can I step in front of a route and really take the ball, or do I just need to play it safe and just bat the ball down? So there's fine line for players, and you just know in those split seconds. That's why these guys are as great as they are, because they can make those split second decisions that only they feel in their mind that they can make. Like you talk about taking the ball away, I'm thinking about Stingley last year versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, he has a shallow route. He's chasing him backside. Most players are probably just going to try to, hey, I'm kind of behind the route. I'm kind of just going to play the ball. But Stingley, and trusting his hands and his ability, he goes and snatches that ball with one hand, one of the best plays I've ever seen. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, good stuff from Texans coach D'Amico Ryans. And he can't wait for tomorrow. And he knows Clint Kubiak very well, of course, played for his dad, Gary Kubiak, and the Kubiak name carries a lot of weight here in Houston. So, yeah, Clint is a rookie head coach, but not a rookie in the NFL. He's done some good things in this league, and it'll be interesting to see kind of that dynamic between him and D'Amico Ryan. So, as promised, we'll have the conversation with Aiden Fisher. I want to give you guys a little bit of background about Aiden, and D'Amico Ryan's used the phrase that they had before from Bill O'Brien about guys: tough, smart, and dependable. And he was an overlooked, unheralded high school recruit. He chose James Madison over Old Dominion, and now he's an NFL draft pick. And he was recruited by Curt Cignetti to transfer, and he winds up becoming an All-American and All-Big Ten. So just a very accomplished player, and they like his communication, the way he directs traffic, and someone that's very smart, very sharp, understands the entire defense, and I think someone that, you look at what he did: 2-time All-American, 2-time All-Big Ten, 4 tackles and a sack in the national championship victory over the Miami Hurricanes. And, he's here, under a real opportunity because it is a little bit open at third linebacker. Arguably, he did just as well, if not better than anyone, other than, coverage. He did allow a couple of catches, but against the run, you saw what Cignetti had said about him, how that rings true: reactive, instinctive player, plays fast, very dependable, smart player in the right place, where he's supposed to be. And that's what playing football is all about. Not that fast, 4.75 in the 40-yard dash, 37-inch vertical, that's good, 10.3 broad jump, 225 bench, 18 times. And talking with him today, yeah, not the biggest guy, but he is all football and a real conscientious young man, and definitely someone that enjoyed our conversation, had a cool, extensive conversation. We talk about Fernando Mendoza, who's one of his best friends, about the friendship he's formed with Wade Woodaz, and playing for D'Amico Ryans, as well as, his experience the other day, what that meant to him to be out there making a bunch of plays. So he was a downhill guy. He was very decisive. And for you guys that watched the preseason, the inside fan that likes to really know and have that insight about things, you see the way he's learned a lot from Aziz, the way he takes care of his body, and he missed some time in the spring, and he got over that, and now you're seeing him all over the football. He'll have fun seeing his old friend Fernando Mendoza, someone that means a lot to him, and just a quarterback that's like him, someone that just loves football, very blue-collar, dedicated type of guy. So Coach Cignetti's meant a lot to him, and has really been a formative influence for him in his life and in his career. And now you think about, for him, his job is to make the team. He says he doesn't like to get into counting the numbers or worrying about that. What he has to do every day is bring it, get better, improve, and just have fun. So let's talk with him now. I think you guys will enjoy this conversation, this one-on-one, another one with Aiden Fisher, and much more to follow after this, including some food stuff at the end. I promise we'll get to that, and we'll have that kind of thing to you as well. But also, the interviews with Xavier Hutchinson and Reed Blankenship, some of my thoughts on each player. All right, guys, more after this. The other day, a lot of tackles. We saw you getting downhill. How did you feel about your game, how you played?
The big thing for me was just going in prepared and confident. We have great vets, great coaches that helped me kind of be confident, be loose. Obviously, a lot of cleanup from that game that I had to clean up. But overall, I think it was a great experience to learn from, to grow, to get great feedback from Coach Davis and Aziz and Henry and all the guys in our room. So the biggest thing for me was just taking every little thing and growing off of it.
Somebody once said that if you make a mistake, make it at full speed. Just,
right.
Fly to the ball, and you can figure it out later. But the big thing is effort and energy, and just kind of don't be thinking out there, be reactive.
Exactly.
Yeah. How do you feel like you're doing with that part of the game?
I think for me, the one thing that you can't control is effort. So as long as you're going, 100% at all times, good things will happen. So for me, it's just making sure I'm always, giving the max effort and controlling what I can control.
When you think about what you learn, what you absorb from Aziz, what are some things, some words of wisdom, perspective he's given you?
Oh man, there's a lot. In a short time, he's taught me a lot about just how to take care of your body, the little small things, within your footwork, Small things you do in coverage or in the run game. There's just a lot. But I think the number one thing is to take care of my body, getting it to a place where, I feel comfortable out there, making plays and doing it consistently in my technique.
I went back and looked, like, when you were going to JMU, you weren't like the most high-profile guy, but you seem like you've always, even if people called you the underdog or whatever they might say, it doesn't ever seem to affect how you approach your mentality. Has it always been that way for you? Just kind of like, I don't really care about what they say, 3-star, 4-star, whatever. I'm just going to play some football.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's never been about the attention, media, anything like that. It's just put your head down and work, and it's been no different here. For me, it's just as long as I can control what I'm controlling, being able to just put my head down every night when I go home and say I did absolutely everything I can do today to get as a better football player and to help this team win, then I'll be okay with it. It doesn't really matter to me, outside stuff.
How would you describe your style of play?
Aggressive, violent, definitely physical, and I think fast, mentally and physically being out there.
And the other day, was that a confidence booster?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just, proving that I do belong here and that, I can play in this league. But then just finding little things where it's like I can still keep growing. And that's been, the biggest thing since being here is just finding little ways to critique my game, just keep growing it.
There was a play where you were like, you saw it right away. You stuck your foot in the grass and you took off. And I don't know if it was a TFL, but it was right around the line of scrimmage. You remember that one? Remember that play I'm talking about? Take me through that play, kind of what you saw, and you were sure. You knew where it was going, and you committed.
Yeah, I think for me, it starts with formation recognition. There's a lot of things that kind of lined up in that play, and then being able to see the way the O-line kind of attacked, and then you see kind of holes open up among the O-line and D-line. You have to know where you fit, and then when you know, you go. So for me, it was as soon as I saw the ball was coming downhill, go meet it in the hole, and it was a solid play.
I like that one. Be the hammer, not the nail, right?
Exactly.
Know you go. I like that one too. So tomorrow, you're going to have the Raiders here and Fernando. What's that relationship like? I'm assuming you guys are pretty close. What would it be like to see him and compete against him at this level?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my best friends. We had a great run last year, but now it's competitors. We haven't really talked much this week. We'll talk a little bit after, but
sure.
I'm excited for him. I think he's done a great job in the way that he's developed and handled himself. It's been really fun to watch and be a part of. But as for terms of practice and stuff, it'll just be two competitors, and then we'll save all the hugs and conversations for after.
Hey, maybe he'll throw you one.
Hopefully so.
Take it back.
Hopefully.
So you won't talk to him tonight, but you'll probably just at practice have a
we'll definitely
catch up.
Meet up at some point. Share some words. Obviously, we're in a competitive field, but I mean, at the end of the day, when you care about somebody, they're one of your best friends. You've been through some hard times and good times with them. You don't turn your cheek on them just because you're competitors. So it'll be great to see him, and I'm excited for it.
I love his approach because he is all ball. He's just really no frills. I mean, he's a big name, and he's a star, but you can kind of tell. I've never met him, but basically what you see is what you get.
Exactly, yeah. Humble guy, hard worker, great person to be around.
So he would hang with like the linemen. He's not like not a fancy guy.
No, not at all. He's
cool.
all about the guys.
Coach Scignetti, how much has he meant to you personally and professionally?
Coach Sig? Yeah, he's meant a lot to me. Obviously he gave me a chance at JMU, and then he gave me another chance in Indiana to play for him. So I've been blessed to work with him. It's been great to build our relationship over the 4 years I was with him. And he instilled a lot of things in me that I still carry today. A lot of my work ethic, I think I kind of got from my mom and my family, but there were little details that you pick up from Coach Sig and how much you spend your time in the building, outside the building. What do you do to get better? Not only as a player but as a person outside of the building. So there's a lot to take from him, and he definitely means a lot to me.
During the draft process or afterward, did he give you any advice about the NFL?
He gave me a text. I was actually able to go up and spend some time in Indiana for a little bit, and we talked about it. Just the things that separate people at this level.
Yeah.
Just had some good conversations about what it's going to take, things like that. So it's always great to have that, especially when Coach Sig's in your corner.
And playing for D'Amico Ryans, who was a two-time Pro Bowl linebacker and a defensive rookie of the year, played the position. What do you learn from him? Obviously, Coach Davis a ton, but D'Amico too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing to be here. I've learned so much from, Coach Billy Davis, the vets that we have in the room. And then having Coach D'Amico out here, it's a blessing for a linebacker. When you have a head coach that, played the position, did it at an extremely high level, you just want to soak up knowledge at any chance you can get. So anytime that, he's talking about defense or linebacker play or even pulls you aside in practice, you're 100% in on listening and, believing everything that he's saying and trusting it. But he's been able to, kind of elevate our game, as rookies as well.
It's a competitive situation, third linebacker. You guys are all trying to vie for that to, fill in. Unfortunately, EJ Speed popped the quad. What's your thoughts on that? The competition and also, obviously, first goal for any rookie, make the team.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, I'm not really worried about the numbers game or anything like that. For me, as long as I show up and I'm a better player when I leave than when I showed up, then I'm going to walk away satisfied that day. I just want to do everything I can to help this team win at any position. I kind of be a fool to get caught up in the numbers game.
Sure.
For me, it's just put your head down, work, let those things figure themselves out. Just control the controllables right now.
Bring some of that Hoosier mentality here, right?
Absolutely.
What would you say that is? Because I don't think everybody's always captured the essence of kind of what happened out there. All of a sudden, Indiana, the big dogs.
Yeah, I think for us, it was always a mindset about growing as players and individuals, but we're always worried about the next play.
Yeah.
You can take that literally as in, a game worried about the next play, or, when you're outside of the building, what's the next thing I can accomplish? And it just kind of keeps going from there. One of our big mantras is never satisfied, and I think that's true. When you're always looking to accomplish something more, you truly are never satisfied. So it's kind of like an intrinsic motivation. You just keep going, keep accomplishing things, keep pushing yourself to higher heights.
What do you like about living in Texas, specifically Houston?
Oh yeah, I love it down here. The weather, it's definitely better than the snow and the cold, but it gets a little hot. But I love how much time you can spend outside, not in the house. A lot of great fishing. You can go around the downtown, the Herman Park. I walk that pretty frequently. So just being able to spend time outside. The food's great. The people are amazing. Everybody's always checking in and see how you're doing. So it's been
cool.
great.
Last one for you. As rookie linebackers together, you and Wade, have you gotten to know each other pretty well and try to help each other out? Obviously, you're competing, but you're teammates and you're in the same boat. Yeah,
absolutely. I think when you're in a competitive situation like this, you get no good out of not celebrating each other's good plays or the other person's highs.
Yeah.
So for us, we've been real supportive. We lean on each other for a lot. That's in the building or outside the building. We've gotten pretty close, but just celebrating each other's wins, being there for each other, knowing that we're kind of in it together as rookies in a competitive situation. It's been great.
What do you think of him?
Wade's great.
Yeah.
Great football player, great person, fun to be around, and somebody that obviously both rookies, but I think we learn from each other, we pick each other's brains, and we push each other really hard.
Hey, both are real downhill, aggressive guys. Yeah, I've been watching that. I was a walk-on in East Carolina a long time ago. I was a little bigger then, but I played the same position. But
yes, sir.
Didn't play like y'all though.
Absolutely. Yes,
well, man,
sir.
Thanks. Keep it up. So nice to meet you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But it wouldn't have made it back. Yeah, it wouldn't have made it back. You see him? He's still alive? You know? I'm walking down the hall and he was pissed off at me. Kick you.
One of the Texans' biggest additions was signing Reed Blankenship, and I think he's fit in seamlessly. They bring him in from the Philadelphia Eagles, where he was a team captain. He intercepted 4 passes on a Super Bowl champion squad. So having Reed here, it feels like he's been here a while, even though he hasn't. To the players, though, because of the way they've meshed with him, the kind of person he is, it just feels very different than obviously a year ago where they had chemistry issues, serious chemistry issues with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who didn't play within the scheme, who complained about it getting to blitz more, who complained about a teammate's contract, Jalen Petrie, and just wasn't a good fit. Chemistry wasn't playing within the defense, and it couldn't be more the polar opposite with Reed Blankenship, another former Eagles safety, played there in New England, in Philadelphia with the Eagles and with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But yeah, having this guy signed to a 3-year, $24.7 million contract, includes $16.5 million guarantees, fit really nicely into the top-ranked defense and the locker room dynamic. And as Kamara Lassiter told me, just super fun to be around, super easy to be around, really good football player. He's from Alabama, where he grew up. He's a new dad, girl dad. He's excited about fatherhood, of course, and just someone that, to me, fits this organization very well. But, it was a revolving door at safety last year. First C.J. Gardner-Johnson, then M.J. Stewart tears his quadriceps tendon. Jalen Reed's injuries interrupted his season. Miles Bryant struggled in single coverage, playing out of position, was not retained. So enter Blankenship to bolster this spot. And they feel like someone that really has been very much a asset to this new, defense in terms of new with him, new to, what he's learning. And then, of course, adding Logan Hall and Jadeveon Clowney. So the rich just keep getting richer. All right, now let's hear from Reed Blankenship and, how he's fitting into the Texans. This is his first time talking with the media since the beginning of training camp. So good to hear and kind of get this update from him about where he's at as a player right now.
Good afternoon. How are y'all?
Your teammates have talked about how you fit in seamlessly and just like you've been here, even though you've been there a short time, like you've been here a while. How do you feel like it's going, your transition, and kind of getting to know these guys, building chemistry?
I think it's been great. I feel like we have a lot of fun. One of my main things coming in here was trying to be a voice on the defense, to be a communicator. I found out really fast, I think it was in OTAs, where it was one play and there was a check, and I started checking once to something, and Aziz is like, what's this guy doing, and then he corrected me, but I'm like, okay, they already have a communicator, but I just want to let him know that I want to be on the same page. We're going to work in unison, but we're going to get everybody lined up. But it's been great. It's been fun. There's a lot of different personalities, especially in the DB room, and I just feel like I can get along with a lot of guys and just keep the vibes high. So
When going through that, coming from somewhere successful and implementing yourself into a defense like that, what do you think is the right approach and maybe even the wrong approach?
yeah, I've always lived by being a follower before a leader. Obviously in Philly, I was fortunate enough to be a captain, and there was a lot of people before me. I've had Slay, I had Marcus Epps, had a lot of these older vets that led the way for me, and I just want to sit back and watch how they lead, and especially coming to a place like this. I mean, obviously there's established leaders and stuff, so it'll be wrong for me to come in and try to step on people's toes. Like, obviously that has success. We're in Philly, coming here, I want to bring the same thing, but I'm not going to say, oh, we did this a different way, or we need to do this because it worked here. Everything's different. The organizations are different, players are different, and at the end of the day, you just want to be as smooth as possible. Like I said, be on the same page, communicate, be on the same page, and at the end of the day, enjoy football and have fun.
So there's a lot of similarities between you and Jalen Petrie as far as stature is concerned. Do you see yourself? Jalen is one of those guys who he seeks out.
Hey.
all the smoke.
Yeah.
He loves to be at that line of scrimmage, line covering. He likes being at where all the action is. Do you see yourself?
Yeah. I like to be up close, and I wouldn't say in the trenches, but close to the trenches. I like to be physical, and I know JP. Watching JP, I feel like I feel like I am a bigger person than JP. I was joking, but you know, just the way he plays like he's way bigger than he is, and it's just crazy. It's actually fun watching him on tape because he's flying around like he's a student, truly a student of the game. I watch him every day, just watching just past games, just watching film, and like, man, this guy is truly passionate about what he does. But yeah, I try to be like JP. I try to be up and be as physical as possible. So.
What are some of the benefits of having corners who can cover, but also are very important in the running game?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I feel like every position has its sort of special part in it, and obviously you think of a corner, they're just there to cover. No, they're not. If you have corners that can hit, I mean, Sting, I've seen K3 just, I mean, come up and feel a run. It's crazy to see him to do that, but it makes you as a safety feel great. Like you don't have to sometimes be as fast in the run fit. Like you don't have to. They're not counting on you as a run defender to be up there close to action at times. If especially you have, you know, I say Kamari again. If he's down low on the line of scrimmage, like, and there's a run to him, he's gonna get the job done for sure.
Did you see the meeting against the Raiders this game, this practice?
Mm-hmm.
What's the benefits against their tight ends and
Yeah.
quarterbacks they have?
Yeah, they're talented. Obviously, they got, you know, the first round draft pick, and I guess watching his first preseason game, he had a pretty good debut. And like I said, the talented tight ends. We played them in Philly last year, and obviously Brock Bowers is the guy, you know, and you hear lots about him. And I feel like it's really good for us on the back end to go against talent like that.
What were your impressions and thoughts when you went into free agency about when you talked to the team why you wanted to come here versus how it's kind of played out, the role you're in, your fit?
Yeah, at first, you know, I didn't really know what to expect. But when things started heating up, especially with here, I'm like, why would a team like this that has a great defense to want me? And being able to come here and be a contributor, and for a defense like this stature to want me, you know, I don't know, it feels great. You know, I'm ready to go and just ready to start playing with these dudes.
Bigger impressions of some of the young guys in the safety room, Ramsey,
Yeah.
David Reed.
Yeah, K-Ram, Jay Reed, they're fantastic guys and great athletes, especially K-Ram. He put on a show, you know, his first preseason game, and, you know, you like to see rookies do that. And trying to get out of his shell a little bit. He's a little quiet, but he's doing a great job. You know, he's starting to communicate a little bit more, and I feel like just being around him more and, like I said, getting him out of his shell lets him play with a little more confidence. And especially Jay Reed, you know, obviously last year dealing with some injuries, but at the end of the day, he's a baller too. Preseason, I mean, he's coming downhill. He's hitting guys, and just trying to be a good vet to him. Trying to be there to answer any questions, and then if I have any questions, I'm going to ask, you know, Jay Reed about stuff and CB. But those two guys, they're doing really good and having some really great camps right now.
What's it like saying? Nico's just saying that how this time the starters will play and everybody's healthy. What do you feel like to be out there for the first time in a game situation?
Yeah. I'm gonna be nervous for sure. Obviously, it feels like I'm not a rookie, but I mean, obviously, new team, new environment. You know, the nerves are gonna hit a little different, but I'm definitely excited to get the opportunity, and you know, just got to go out there and just play ball.
What's it like going from Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on the inside now, Will and Bill? Obviously, different positions.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
see any similarities, and what's it like?
they both wreaked havoc during practice and especially games. I mean, it's in practice especially. It's like, oh, we're trying to, you know, figure out different concepts in the back end, like different routes that we get, and then we flip to the end zone copy and see they already got a sack, and you're just like, well, you know, you don't have too long to cover. You just got to get in their way sometimes and let the front line eat.
What has it been like for you being in Texas so far, and how has fatherhood changed?
It's great. Like I said, it's a different chapter in me and my wife lives. Especially having a little baby girl, she's changed how I view things now tremendously, and it's crazy. I feel like it's hard to explain sometimes, especially the fathers out there that, especially have a baby girl. Your things change in your mind, like everything flips, and you just want to be the best version of yourself to her and to your wife for as long as you're here. So.
When you look at your football journey so far, you was a drafted free agent, having success in Philly, now you're here as a starter, one of the top defensive in the league. Where did that success come from? Where did that drive come from?
You talking about me? Yeah, I mean, it started, I guess, back home in Alabama where, my parents, they raised me to be that finish to do 100%, 110% regardless of what happens. You make mistakes, do them fast, and just be confident and be humble. Just remember where you come from and how you got there. And I'm a spiritual guy, so I wouldn't be here if God wouldn't have, changed things in my life. And obviously he's given me challenges throughout the way, and you learn from them. You can turn negatives into positives real fast, and you just find the joy in everything.
You UFDAs, they have a lot to overcome, meaning that you're competing against players who are drafted or might get paid a lot. What would you say was the key to you making the roster when you
In Philly?
Yeah.
Like I said, you gotta love football. Obviously in college, you gotta balance school, you gotta balance football, but when you come to league, it's a job now, and you're not surrounded by, I say, young kids, college kids anymore. You're surrounded by people with families, and that this is their opportunity to put food on the table for their families. And it's like I said, it flips your mindset too. It's like you gotta love it. You gotta show up willing to work every day. Obviously, being undrafted, you feel like you're the guy on the bottom of the totem pole, and just gotta work your way up, and just allow coaches to see that you're in the building, you're wanting to learn, you're asking questions, even if the questions aren't the smartest questions, you're still asking them, you're still wanting to learn. So I try to value that as a rookie. And like I said, I had great vets. I had Slay, I had Marcus Epps, I had Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. The list can go on forever. And they showed us the way and showed us how to work.
Is it the same mindset coming into a new situation like you are in now?
Yeah, absolutely. Just because you sign a second contract doesn't mean you can just take days off. You still got to prove yourself. Like they signed you for a reason. They signed you for what you can do, what they see that you can do in the future, not what you've done in the past. So that's how I look at it.
I want to follow up on a question I guess it was Landry that asked you. Being on the defense, like you in Philly, disruption, similar to what you see here with Will and Daniil, and how do you guys navigate practice that way?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like if Will or Daniil get there, we'll let the play continue. But yeah, it's fun watching these guys go to work. Especially Will. I mean, it's crazy. Like I feel like he can shut down a practice quick, and same with Daniil. But it's honestly fun watching them play. Thank y'all.
All right, guys. There is Reed Blankenship. One of the players I feel like that really flies under the radar as a good football player, and he's actually listed as one of the starters on the unofficial depth chart, and that's Xavier Hutchinson. He's a good wide receiver that has progressively gotten better, and he's built a real good timing and sync with quarterback C.J. Stroud. They're good friends, and he wasn't happy with his playoff game. One of the interceptions was his fault, as he noted and took accountability for, because he had the pass, he dropped it, it bounces off his hands, and the Patriots pick it off. So yeah, not a great ending to his season. He's accountable about that. But he had a good year. 35 catches, 428 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaged 12.2 yards a catch. They counted on him a lot more last year. He got 6 starts, career high. He got targeted 57 times, and the production was there. First touchdowns of his career, 3 scores, and just overall a guy that the Texans believe in, and why not? You see the kind of ball player he is, and that he can get this thing done. I feel like with Hutchinson, they have a reliable receiver. He's mentored Lewis Bond. He's also, to me, with Jalen Noel dealing with a hamstring injury on top of the pinky injury, he could very well be the Texans' initial slot. Maybe Jalen Noel works his way into that role once he's back, but they say it's going to be a couple weeks. So time is running out fast for Jalen Noel to get back out there, reestablish himself, and regain the momentum that he had created in the spring when he was catching a touchdown basically every day at practice. So right now, it's all about Hutchinson. And Hutchinson's perspective, very interesting about C.J. Stroud, because he knows C.J. quite well, and they're in the same draft class, and it's interesting to hear everything from Hutch about, kind of where he stands, and knowing C.J. and spending a lot of time with him this offseason, playing some catch out in California, over in Orange County. So, we'll hear from Xavier Hutchinson. After that, you're going to hear from Mike Toman, the Texans team president. You're going to see some videos of the food. Did try some of the things, some of the items, including the Kraft Pita chicken, which I order them sometimes from DoorDash. Really like them. I've had tried the brisket. There was deviled egg with caviar. There were some pastries from Blue Dorn. Blue Dorn is a new exclusive culinary partner of the Texans. A very nice restaurant, kind of a special occasion place. I've been twice, once for anniversary and another time for a birthday. But yeah, great restaurant. And so a lot of cool things available through Aramark now on the club level, but also at the concession stands. So that's cool. I want to shout out my friends, of course, at FenceGeeks, at FenceGeeks.com. Just a great friend of this channel. You can check out all of their custom iron work for fences, gates, doors, railings, commercial work, all custom, all outstanding, best in the business. Their promise to you is they will work with you to achieve your design goals, make them a reality. You can give them a call at 713-299-6482. That's 713-299-6482. Or email them at service@fencegeeks.com. And of course, our other sponsor is a great one. That's PM Law Firm at pmtxlaw.com. Guys, if you've been in an accident, you need to give them a call. They fight and they win for you. So you can absolutely be in great hands with them. Call them at 281-968-9529. And of course, thank you to our friends at How Water, hyper pure oxygenated water. Just outstanding water. Appreciate the cases of water they sent me. My wife and I are going through them fast, drinking these waters. And even though I'm inside today, definitely working up a thirst. And appreciate you guys watching. Just to recap now, we've heard from D'Amico Ryans, Aiden Fisher, Reed Blankenship, Xavier Hutchinson. Now let's hear from Mike Toman. And let's see these videos, these promised videos about the food. Hopefully it doesn't spoil anybody's appetite, or maybe it'll make you hungry. I don't know. Definitely some cool food, and got a chance to try a few of the items. Did not really go in. I do have to watch it. Can't just go off in there. But I definitely had a chance to sample some of the items. I thought they were all very good. We'll chat tonight at 8:30, and I just look forward to answering your Texans questions. And tomorrow is a big day. The Texans joint practice with the Las Vegas Raiders. Can't wait to cover it. Bring you lots of shorts, one-on-one videos, everything I can throw up there. And of course, my observations and interviews, and we'll bring it all to you here on the channel. Thanks, guys, and stay tuned. More to come.
Every year, it's like you build on some things. What do you feel like specifically this year you've gotten better, and your timing also with CJ?
Yeah. I think, after the season last year, I had to kind of look myself in the mirror a little bit. I didn't finish the way that I wanted to finish. That's, no surprise to anybody in here. So really just I had to have those tough conversations with myself, especially with Ben McDaniels, our receiver coach, and just really what I needed to get better at. And, I feel like as a receiver, just I needed to get more suddenness, and I needed to get more control of my body. That's something that I worked on in the off season. And then I think with the connection with CJ was really just, organic. I ended up being in LA in the off season training. It's no surprise that he was in the OC training as well. So, whenever we had time to link up and throw, I was there. And, I kind of made it a priority to myself to, just be around a little bit more, show face a little bit more. And, I feel like it's really helped me during training camp and just, seeing what he sees and being on the same page with him.
What happens
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, he's always had the God-given talent. I think anybody, like I said before, anybody in this room can tell that he's a special quarterback. But really, with him, it's really just been his confidence in the offense. He knows it a lot better. Not saying that he didn't know it before, but you can just tell that it's a lot more comfortable. And he's understanding everything. He's understanding how we want to play. And I feel like that's something that's really shown in training camp as well. And then also too, just his leadership. He was always a great leader, but you see him stepping out a little bit more and getting out of his comfort zone. And I think with a quarterback who is comfortable with being uncomfortable, I think that's a huge thing for us because no matter how it's shown, like he's going out there and he's being him. And I think when someone can be themselves, you can respect it. It makes you want to. It makes you want to play a little bit harder for him. You don't want to let him down. That's your QB.
I know, you've done your training and things like that heading into training camp, but how much did the familiarity with the offense from last season coming into year two, how much has that helped you in camp this year?
Big difference. Big difference. Obviously, with anything, when you get more comfortable with the offensive system, you're going to be able to know what you can and can't get away with. And also, we're not starting from ground zero. We're building from somewhere. Like we already kind of had our foundation a little bit. We saw how kind of Kales wanted to play, and now it was really just about understanding everything a little bit more, like the most minute details, if you will. And I feel like that's where you've seen us in training camp now. Like we've taken a step, above what we were last year, and everyone looks more comfortable in the offense from like every single group, every single position group. You're just seeing like the confidence really, exude out of us. That was crazy, but you really just see everybody like they all know the job at hand, and everybody's a lot more comfortable with it.
I know that they're your teammates, of course, but how competitive is that wide receiver room? Because it seems like there's a lot of wide receivers fighting for reps.
Yeah, it's huge, man. I mean, I feel like every single year that I've been here, I probably have biasness, but our receiver room has been the best receiver room that I've ever seen. And I feel like each year it gets better and better. And, to your point, like our receiver room is very deep, and we have a lot of great playmakers who can all make plays. And I think it just pushes you because, like there's never a day that you can go out there and be complacent because one day it's going to be someone who's not complacent. And, that's the day that you lose. So I feel like it just all pushes us to, be better. And, of course, like our saying here, like iron sharpens iron, of course, going against the defense and everything. But in our receiver room, we're all looking to make plays. And we're all hungry to make plays. So, you're really pushing everyone, every opportunity, every chance that you get to go out there and, the ball's coming to you. It's like make the play or, somebody else will. So it's pushing us in the right way, though.
You were talking about being in the second year of the offense, and for CJ, it's kind of obvious that he knows it better.
Yeah.
And then you can tell. Are there things that you see that make you realize I can tell he knows the offense better, he's more comfortable there? Are there little things like that you can point out?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's even just with like our mic points. I know I'm a receiver, so you wouldn't think I know mic points, but obviously when you're around the system, you get to see it a little bit more. So he's just like identifying the defensive coverages fast, what he needs to tell. He's getting more comfortable with having a voice in the pocket because to be uncomfortable, that's probably uncomfortable to call out the mic, every time. And then also too, like he's just knowing our hot reads, our hot responses, and he's just I don't know how to like simplify, but like he just understands, and he's more comfortable in the offense, and you can just feel it. It's just something that like no words need to be spoken. You can just tell by it when he's out there.
Is there some mentoring for you with Lewis Bond, and what do you think of him so far?
Yeah, I love Lewis. We always joke around actually. When we were finishing up OTAs, he stayed at my house for like 4 days after everything because he didn't leave until like a Thursday or something. So really just getting that time with him and, really just like telling him, where I fell short at my rookie year or, some of the things that I felt like, I could have did better at. Just, kind of sharing that, those vulnerable moments that I had my rookie year and trying to, pass it along to him to where, my door's always open for him and I'll always be there for him. And Lewis is a great player, though. Like, far beyond anything that I've seen as a rookie receiver coming in. He has a chip on his shoulder. He's hungry, but he also knows, what the job at task is. And I think for him having that understanding this early on is huge, and it'll play a factor for him this year and the following years as long as he's playing football.
You got unk status now, huh? That's what Will said. It feels like.
I mean, I wouldn't say unk, but I definitely get called OG in the rooms now. But it's a nice feeling though, man. That like I'm grateful to have that unk status, if you will, because that means I've been around. And yeah, I'm grateful to wake up every day and play football.
We ask you all about on the offensive side of the ball. We always ask you all what it's like being in the second year of this Nick Cady system. What have you seen from Nick Cady as far as him coming from his rookie year and being an offensive play caller to now?
Yeah, he's being more poised, and I feel like everyone has a transition. Like you're not always going to be perfect, and like I've said before, like our mistakes and our shortcomings, they get put out onto the internet very fast. But what I've seen with Nick is just like him understanding what he has here and what we can do and what we do really well. And now it's really him challenging us on the things that we don't do well. So it's him being more comfortable with being an OC and calling plays, but also too just him just like kind of just letting it rip, man. Like him just being him. I think that's what we need from him, man. He's a high energy guy, and he's always going to bring it every day. So really just following suit behind him.
When you talked about not finishing the way that you wanted to last year, what specifically, like, what was the moment where you felt like you came up short?
I mean, obviously we lost the game, so that's like a shortcoming, but that's for like the team. Obviously for me, I was a part of the problem on the turnovers. Like CJ trusted me throwing me the ball, I dropped it. It's football, that's gonna happen, but like I need to be perfect. Like we need to be better in those big time moments when it matters the most. So that's what I meant by like kind of like my shortcomings on the field. But those moments don't define me. What's life without a little setback? You know what I'm saying? It makes it when you get back even again and you exceed what you thought you couldn't do, it makes it a little bit sweeter.
You talked about confidence and being uncomfortable from your first year, 6th round pick, trying to make it to now. What's the biggest similarity in mindset and the biggest change in mindset that you're in?
Yeah. I guess I'll start with, you said what was the similarities? Really just like still being me. Really being like comfortable with who I am, and knowing that like I can go out there and play, and like I'm a good receiver, and like I deserve to be in the NFL, and I deserve to make plays. Like I can go out there and make plays, but also I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite. That was something that was also like from my rookie year to now that was completely different. Like my rookie year, I had to kind of like inch my way towards there. Just some things that like I was dealing with personally. But now this year, it's like, I go out there, I expect to make the plays. The team expects me to make the plays. So now it's just, I'm more confident and I know that I've actually put in the work behind the scenes. So I guess like work ethic has changed a lot. And yeah, like it's just, hopefully I answered your question, to be honest with you. Yeah. Talk about growth opportunities on offense, but are there similar chances and opportunities for special teams? You're in on a lot of special teams units.
Yes, sir.
What have you kind of seen from your growth in that element?
In special teams, yeah, I didn't know how to, besides being a returner, I didn't know a lick of special teams until I got to Frank. So, man, kudos to Frank for just, like, believing in me when I didn't even really see it myself, that, I could go out there and be a good special teams player. But also, like, too, like, I put in the work with Frank after practices and really just, like, trusting my technique. So that's something that, like, I've seen a difference in coming from special teams. Just really, special teams is really about, like, your want to. Like, you have to want it more than the other guy. It's like there's nowhere else you can really go. Like, you're either going to make the block or you're not, or you can defeat the block or you're not. So, like, really just owning your one-on-one matchups, I feel like is something that, like, I learned. And then along the ways, I learned more technique and more fundamentals with it.
You've been here throughout the last 1 week of Will CJ era, been a part of it. Do you feel like the vibe's any different this year than any of the previous years and how good the team's been and what the goals are?
Yeah. No, to be honest with you, no, I haven't felt any difference. We've always known that we're a capable team. We always know that we can go as far as we want.
keyword we want. So it's just we have to handle the day-to-day basis. Yes, we have goals. Yes, we want to accomplish big things, but honestly, it doesn't start. It starts with Monday, August 17th. Am I right in that? It's August 17th. Perfect. It starts with August 17th, and like I think that's something that we've understood more is to just be where our feet are at, and know that if we handle today, we'll like where we're at in the future. But it's the future for a reason, so we can't even think about it. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
We got here early. Out here early to
join us as we talk through what is new here at Reliant. This is new for us. This is our new space. And so, welcome. Thank you for coming. Really excited to have you down here in our second week as we get ready to take on the Las Vegas Raiders here on Thursday and walk you through today on our new items, our new food and beverage items for the upcoming season. We sit here right now, just to orient you, in our new BMW Lone Star Ballroom in M Club Blue. As y'all have seen, we are tucked into a pretty unique area of the stadium that usually is only open for this group, players, owners, etc. For the first time, we've opened it up to our fans. And so if you look over my shoulder over here, that is the opposing team's locker room. That is where they will take the field. So unique proximity to a really special moment in any NFL game. And to be able to take it in this all-inclusive atmosphere, this is about ultra premium. This is about serving the market itself in a more unique and dedicated way. That being said, as I always like to remind our team, and I'll remind myself, I understand that I stand between you and eating, and so I'm going to keep this very short. I do want to say, Coach always talks about iron sharpens iron. That is an important thing for us. Everyone has to put their best effort forward. And so we have our great partners at Airmark who are showcasing the new items here today that you will see on the suite level, on the main concourse, all throughout the stadium and the club area. We need you to eat. We need you to do your best. We need you to really contribute on the eating and drinking side. And then once we do that, we're going to step back into M Club Blue. I'm going to showcase that area there. And we're going to talk about our special chef partner, Blue Dorn, back there as well. So, as I promised, I'm going to keep this short. Thank you for being here. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Season here at Reliant Stadium. We're back, Reliant. Airmark is proud to debut over 80 new items this season, from different beverages scattered throughout the entire stadium to food and our food partners. So our food partners here today with you are Craft Pita, who's going to be available in our suites, our club level, to El Tiempo and our general concessions area throughout the entire concourses for all of our fans to enjoy. And then we have excellent food choices in our general concessions team that is over there for you guys to try today. We have 7 new items we want you to taste and get a feel for H-Town and what it really means to be here in Houston and the culture of all of those foods that we have here to showcase in our wonderful city. And then we have our excellent sweets offerings. And then you have our club level too. So we have a wide variety of everything for everyone to enjoy. And we hope you guys enjoy all of the wonderful food that we have for you today. Does anyone have any specific questions?
How do you come up with the different menu items?
So menu items is crazy because it surrounds us in our everyday lives. From the social media we're exposed to just what's trending in the world today. And we're trying to see what's popular out there, what's trending. So we all know, this is going to be a funny story for you, but we all know protein is hot right now. So when you go and you buy anything, number of grams of protein. So we're really playing into that this year too, and making sure that guests understand that you can get your protein power here at the stadium as well as home too. So if you're watching your protein, you can get it here at the stadium as well.
Mike, if you could tell us just where we are and kind of the exclusivity of this space specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to M Club Blue. It's inside the BMW Lone Star Ballroom. So it's tucked back in the corner in speakeasy fashion. Challenge anyone here to try to find it. We actually try to make it easy. Has a unique BMW steering wheel at the door that allows you into this 44-member club. So ultra exclusive, and when our guests are back here, they can expect the finest in the culinary world with our partners at Blue Dorn, as well as still stay back and close to the action, as we still have a vantage point so everybody can take in this atmosphere and see the opposing team take the field.
Is this more of a pre-game or post-game space than during the game?
Yeah, the great piece is it gives optionality to our clients on how they want to entertain. So it is a great pre-game place. We see people populating it here. It's halftime, it's open, and then certainly after the game is over. So the idea is that we can complement whatever experience that they want. They have the optionality to extend their time here.
What are some of the perks of being a member here?
That's one of the things that's really important to us is like when you're creating exclusivity, it has to do with amenities. And we really try to think about the customer journey, not when they were at the actual stadium, but before that. And so all of our members here in M Club Blue are picked up by a BMW M car that brings them to the game, ushers them through the dock, which is where the players and the owners come in, to this experience, allows them pre-game field access, and then they can come back into this all-inclusive atmosphere. Food and beverage. On the way out, I will plug the candy wall, which is always a big fan to make sure that this still always feels, while it's high-end, feels like a great game atmosphere.
Do you buy membership for the whole season, or is it game by game? Like in case Jason wanted to get one for me, how would that be?
Yeah, we're going to talk to Jason after this, and he's going to be excited to sign a multi-year contract.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a multi-year commitment for the seasons.
How are sales looking for both the new ultra premium spaces here so far?
M Club Blue is sold out. It was great demand, so Jason's going to have to pay an extra premium. We'll keep him on the wait list. And demand has been going great, I think for BMW Lone Star Ballroom. There's 180 memberships that we started out with that club. So going through that and looking forward to being at capacity pretty soon.
Mike, before we started, you were mentioning some of the premium liquor. What are some of the things that M Club people will have access to here?
Yeah, one of the unique things is each will have their own spirit locker. So if there's something unique that they like, they have the ability to bring it here and have it be served. The key piece for us is really the service. And so a customized understanding for each individual by the time that they walk back here on what type of culinary experience that they're looking for. Again, our great partners at Blue Dorn having the ability to anticipate and make sure the tables are served and ready for them to enjoy the game.
What was your experience in putting this together as far as the exclusivity is concerned and making sure that the people who become members have that type of feeling of exclusivity?
Well, we really started with the process of what makes something exclusive. And you look at proximity to the main event, the main thing, which is the field and the players. And so we're able to walk the stadium with fresh eyes. That is no price increases, beer, nachos, etc. So we have some really exclusive pieces, and then we know what is really fundamental to a good experience. We tried to capture all those things for our fans.
This premium space is new for the Texans. I wonder is this a trend league-wide, and how does this compare to what other teams are doing?
It's real important to us when we talk about delivering a world-class fan experience that we understand what other venues, other buildings are doing, not only in the state, not only in the country, but worldwide. And I think we have seen a lot more segmentation to the different markets, meaning do you have a unique experience for a certain type of fan? And so we see that as a trend, and we see the want to get closer to the team and the game elements. We see that as a trend as well.
If you could, I don't know how much you can expound on it because I don't know how much of input you had as far as the design is concerned, but I noticed before we came in here with the videos and the pictures, there's a lot of nostalgia out there. There's a lot of, the past players. In here, there's a lot of the present players. Was that something done by design?
Yeah, that's deliberate. We wanted to be able to showcase the great history and the great players that we have in kind of our moments room outside of the M Club Blue. The key piece on that also is to make this feel like a speakeasy so that there's something else going on out there. But the design was really important, and that was led by our great pop team. Working with all of our partners to kind of bring this together. As you know, it's a busy stadium, so it's not like you just have the full year to run through and create this. And they were obviously able to deliver something special on time here.
Yeah. Awesome. That's always a good thing.